You know that feeling in your gut when you discover you've been fooled again? That chill down your spine when you realize you've fallen for another game? Today, that ends. You're going to put on the X-ray glasses of truth, and you'll never be made a fool of again. Pay attention. Most men live in the dark, stumbling over lies they could have seen coming from a mile away. You don't have to be another one. What I'm about to teach you is ultra rare, knowledge few apply because it takes courage to see reality as it truly is. Every time you're fooled, you don't just lose time. You lose a piece of your trust. You lose vital energy. And the worst part? You start to doubt if anyone authentic even exists anymore. But what if I told you there's a system, an internal radar you can calibrate right now? Studies show that 93% of human communication happens without words. 93%. This means that while you're paying attention to what she says, you're missing almost everything that truly matters. I spent years decoding these patterns. I delved deep into female behavioral psychology, and I discovered something almost no one realizes. Women who lie always follow the same script. Always. Now, I'm going to give you the 5 signs that will shield you from any type of manipulation. Engrave each of them in your mind. First sign, the critical gaze shift. When you ask a direct question about something important, observe her eyes. It's not about looking down or to the side. It's about the timing. At the exact moment she should be looking you in the eyes to confirm something true, she looks away. It's subtle. It lasts less than a second. But your primitive brain picks up this signal. That strange feeling you get? It's your instinct trying to warn you, but you've been taught to ignore it. Remember that time something didn't quite add up, but you let it slide? That was it happening. Eyes that dart away in the crucial moment don't lie. Does that make sense? Second sign, the overly detailed story. Truths are simple. Lies need production. When someone is being authentic, answers flow naturally. When they're deceiving, they need to construct an elaborate narrative to seem convincing. She tells you where she went, with whom, what she wore, what she ate, the music that was playing. Details you didn't even ask for. Why? Because deep down she knows she needs to convince you. It's like watching a poorly rehearsed play. Do you notice the difference between "I went to dinner with friends" and a 15-minute story about every moment of the night? The truth doesn't need a script. Excessive details hide holes. Can you feel the difference? Third sign, temporal contradictions. This is the most technical, and few men master it. Our brains process real memories linearly. When we recount something we experienced, the sequence makes sense. When we invent, small inconsistencies appear. She said she left work at 6, but the restaurant she mentioned closes at 7 and is 40 minutes away. The numbers don't add up. You don't need to become a detective. You just need to pay attention. Yesterday, a woman told me about a trip. She said she took the 8 a.m. flight and arrived for lunch with her family. The problem? The flight was 5 hours long. Math doesn't lie. Time doesn't lie. People do. Do you see the pattern? Fourth sign, sudden emotional inversion. When you question something legitimate, the natural response is clarification. When you touch on a lie, an explosion comes. Suddenly, you're the one to blame. You're insecure. You're controlling. You don't trust. It's a psychological technique called gaslighting. She flips the script to make you feel bad for asking. And it works because you want peace, not war. But think with me. If there's nothing to hide, why the disproportionate reaction? I've seen this happen hundreds of times. The guy asks a simple question about an inconsistency, and in seconds he's apologizing. The manipulation is so effective that you forget what you even asked. Sudden anger hides guilt. Are you starting to see? Fifth sign, the silence test. This is my favorite because it's foolproof. After asking an important question, stay silent. Don't complete the sentence. Don't make it easy. Just wait. Honest people fill the silence with truth. Liars fill it with more lies. It's biological. The discomfort of silence after a lie is unbearable. Her brain will panic and start talking too much, contradicting herself, adding unnecessary details. Try this today. Ask a question and count to 5 in silence. What comes next will reveal everything. Silence reveals hidden truths. Can you imagine the power of that? Now comes the part nobody tells you. You might be thinking, but won't this make me paranoid? Will I start distrusting everyone? Wrong. It's exactly the opposite. When you know how to identify lies, you can recognize the truth. When you master these signs, you stop living in fear. You become shielded, not because you distrust everyone, but because you trust your own perception. It's like learning to drive. At first, you're scared of everything. Once you master it, you relax and enjoy the ride. Let me tell you about the perception tripod. First, observe. You need to train your eyes to catch what has always been there. Body language, micro-expressions, behavioral patterns. Everything is available to those who know how to see. Second, question. Not aggressively, but intelligently. Open-ended questions that allow the person to reveal themselves. How was your day? Reveals more than where were you? Third, validate. Compare what you observe, what you feel, and what she says. When all three align, you have authenticity. When they diverge, you have your answer. It's a simple system that works in any situation. You know what impresses me most? Men spend years learning about investments, business, fitness. But how many invest in learning to read people? How many develop this skill that can save years of suffering? Almost no one. That's why you're here. That's why you're different. There's an exercise I want you to do starting today. In each interaction, choose one of these signs to observe. Just one. On Monday, observe gaze shifts. On Tuesday, pay attention to overly detailed stories. On Wednesday, look for temporal contradictions. In 1 week, your brain will start processing everything automatically. It's like when you learn to recognize a specific car on the street. Suddenly you start seeing it everywhere. It was always there. But now, your perception is calibrated. Remember that feeling in your stomach I mentioned at the beginning? It exists for a reason. It's your internal alarm system trying to protect you. Millions of years of evolution created this mechanism. But modern society taught you to ignore it. Don't be suspicious. Give them the benefit of the doubt. Trust more. Nonsense. Trust is earned, not given away for free. Now, let me tell you about the moment all of this crystallizes. You're on a date. The ambiance is perfect. Soft music. Cozy lighting. She's beautiful, smiling, saying all the right things. But something doesn't quite add up. Maybe it's the way she constantly checks her phone. Maybe it's the story about where she spent the weekend that subtly changes each time she tells it. Maybe it's just that feeling. Before, you'd ignore it. Now, you know. You ask the right question at the right time. You observe the reaction. You apply the silence test. And in seconds, the mask falls. It's not about being cold or calculating. It's about protecting yourself. It's about valuing your time, your energy, your peace of mind. How many nights have you lost questioning yourself? How many arguments could have been avoided? How much unnecessary suffering have you carried because you didn't have these tools? That ends now. But there's one final secret I need to share. The real power isn't in catching lies. It's in attracting truths. When you become impossible to fool, something magical happens. You stop attracting manipulators. They sense that you see right through them and look for easier targets. And you know who's left? Authentic women. Those who have nothing to hide. Those who value honesty as much as you do. It's a natural filtering that happens when you raise your level of perception. Think with me. Does a toy bank safe attract thieves? Number. But a real armored safe with a security system? That protects valuable things. You are becoming that safe. There are men who will read this and do nothing. They will continue to be fooled, continue to suffer, continue to waste time with the wrong people. But you are not one of them. You made it this far because you're ready to change. Because you're tired of being made a fool of. Because you've decided you deserve authentic relationships. This knowledge I've shared is pure power. Few apply it because it requires courage to see reality unfiltered. It requires maturity to accept that not everyone is who they seem to be. But it also requires wisdom not to become cynical. Because ultimately, it's not about distrusting everyone. It's about trusting yourself. It's about developing a perception so sharp that no one can fool you. Imagine the freedom of never again questioning if you're being fooled. The peace of knowing you'll spot any warning sign. The confidence to enter any situation knowing you're shielded. That is priceless. Now you have two choices. You can close this video and continue as you always have. Or you can start applying these signs today. You can train your perception. You can become impossible to fool. The decision is yours. But remember, the time you lose being fooled never comes back. Every day that passes without this protection is a vulnerable day. And honestly, you've already wasted too much time. It's time to put on the X-ray glasses of truth. Like this video now before you forget. Subscribe to the channel because what's coming next will completely transform how you view relationships. And most importantly, start observing. Today, now. Because after this, women will never fool you again.